North Country Federal Credit Union was organized over 60 years ago by a group of employees at General Electric's Burlington plant on Lakeside Avenue in Burlington. Known back then as GE Credit Union, this new entity allowed the members to lend and borrow money at rates far better than those available from traditional banks. Back in 1950, I doubt that anyone ever envisioned that one day their little cooperative would grow and serve all of northern Vermont and become the state's third largest credit union. Fast forward to the 1960s, the credit union had 3 employees and nearly 1,200 members. Nationally, the first credit cards were being put into wide use, the Truth in Lending Act was passed to protect consumers during credit transactions, and the very first ATM was installed in the United States. Cool stuff. Which brings us to the 1970s, when North Country hired its first 2 tellers, bringing our staff to a grand total of 5. This was a decade of growth. Our total assets passed the $1 million mark, and we grew to 2,500 members. This was also the decade that laws were passed allowing credit unions to offer services such as mortgages and credit cards, and other services that frankly we take for granted today. By the 1980s, we converted to a federal charter and changed our name to General Electric Burlington Employees Federal Credit Union. We were growing and we needed more space, so we packed our bags and moved to Shelburne Road in South Burlington, where we stayed and our headquarters remained for the next 20 years. We added to this growth with the first purchase of a credit union, IRBA Credit Union in Waterbury. But the 1980s were also a challenging time. Americans' confidence in banks was being tested. In fact, in 1984 alone, 70 banks across the country failed. But our credit union not only survived, we thrived. And by the 1990s, we had grown to 10,000 members. During this decade, we purchased 3 other credit unions around the state, launched our first website, and officially changed our name to North Country Federal Credit Union, completely rebranding ourselves with a new look and a new name for the new millennium. During the 2000s, North Country converted to a community charter, and we put out the welcome mat for people and businesses throughout northern Vermont. Lots of other exciting things were happening too. Things like the instant response loan applications, which included the mortgage application on our website, indirect lending through car dealerships, the launch of our contact center, and the creation of our Good Neighbor Committee. We weren't done though. We merged 2 other credit unions, opened new branches, moved others, and joined the national network of credit union service centers. This leads us to our decade now, when just since 2010, we've opened 4 new branches. We've launched Kasasa Checking, mobile banking, and we've grown to where we can proudly say we're nearing 30,000 members and employ over 100 staff. Not bad for our first 50 years, and as we look forward to the future, who knows how far North Country can go in our next half century.